Hey friends, when you guys go out, how do you behave yourselves? How do you conduct yourself? Are you typically polite with people, or are you kind of entitled or stuck up? Today's topic is on behavior and how important that is to be able to treat each other with the respect that we all deserve. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's episode of the Bump Podcast.
Welcome everyone to another episode of the Bump Podcast. I'm your host Shamir, here with my co-host and beloved brother Nabil.
Hey everybody, thank you for joining us on another episode of the Bump Podcast. Today's topic is basically going to be on behavior, just because of recent events that have happened and occurred. I felt it strongly for us to talk about it today. But what do our fellow followers need to do?
You guys need to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the ringle dingle dingle.
That's right.
Follow us on all our social platforms. Thank you guys for the support.
So yes, today we're going to be talking about behavior. So the definition is the way in which one acts or conducts oneself, especially towards others. Where are your thoughts on this particular topic today?
I think we should understand that anywhere we go in society, we should learn to understand the vibe in the room and everything around us. Learn how to coexist with people and feel everybody out. You know, I think that there's always, especially in society right now, how the elections just came in, new president, everything. The immigration stuff that's going on and everything else in general is there's a lot of tension out there. So we need to be the light for anybody's day. Yeah. And be able to behave ourselves in a respectful manner, even though we don't get it in return.
Especially that.
Be able to control ourselves. Like I was telling you last night alone about the other day when we went to that terrible restaurant. I'm gonna mention it because I really had a terrible experience. Okay, let's not mention it. But anyways, it was a brunch that we went to, a terrible restaurant.
Absolutely.
And then on our way out, we were trying to get in our car. Obviously, we have a kid, and then there's this people that are going to the car next to us, and they were kind of like rushing us with their looks, And my lady had said something. They didn't reply, thank God. But my point is that sometimes we act off impulse, and
right.
I guess our feelings are valid at times, because sometimes people do act out of character, and that's the point. I mean, if people don't act accordingly and don't have a accurate behavior, things can escalate. But I want to say that also, maybe a lot of people that are grown adults, you talk to them about behavior and they automatically think like you're looking at them as like a child, or like
they get defensive about it.
And I want to say that if somebody is trying to correct the way you are acting for some reason, please reevaluate yourself.
Take it as constructive criticism,
if you may. It depends how they say it to you as well, but yes, take it as constructive criticism and understand that, maybe you're doing something that a person is trying to avoid you problems down the road.
Yeah.
And, but behavior could be in every aspect other than just, modern day society. I think that, behavior could be also by yourself. How are you acting when you're by yourself? Are you acting happy? Are you depressed all the time? Or, evaluate yourself and behavior is one of the things that I hold myself accountable on a daily basis of what I do and what I don't do. And in the past couple podcasts that we've had, I've been mentioning that I've been practicing a lot self-control. And one of the main factors of self-control is my behavior. How do I go about my daily basis? So that's just where I'm at on behavior, man.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much concur with that. I definitely agree. We have to I don't know, it's just sometimes like it's like you mentioned, we have to be able to read the room. We have to be able to see what kind of people you're coming in contact with, the environment that you're in. Are you someplace indoors or are you someplace outdoors? All of that stuff is super important, so that way you know how you need to kind of behave yourself around people.
Yeah.
Certain things that I think we need to mention specifically about behavior, right? Other than it's the observable actions and reactions of people or animals or systems in response to the environment. There are things that, kind of go in congruent with this: social behavior, emotional behavior, cognitive behavior, motor behavior. These are all things that we need to be aware of. Maybe I should kind of mention the descriptions about this too. So social behavior is how people interact with each other, including communication, cooperation, and aggression. For emotional behavior, it's how people experience and express emotions, such as crying or yelling. Cognitive behavior is how people learn and think, including how they process information, which is why it's important how, when you say something in particular, it's how you're delivering it that people are going to respond to it.
Yeah.
And then motor behavior is how people move, such as running or throwing something. And that could be a slippery slope if you do it incorrectly. The reason I bring all of this up is because I had an experience this weekend. I was working an event, and at this particular event, it was a Christian-based event, right? And I was looking forward to the event, right? I worked both days. I was looking forward to the event, and the event really was disappointing for me. Not the event itself, the people, the Christians. And this isn't an attack to the Christians. I'm a Christian myself. I believe in God, and he's everything. He means everything to me. If those of us who say we believe in God, we truly study and meditate in what the Bible says, and we also pray, and we also listen to worship music, we need to be able to be someone who demonstrates love, patience, kindness, gentleness, compassion. The list goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
Well, at this event, you had some of that, but most of it was a lot of people who were very impatient. If you told them, listen, I need you to stand over here or over there because we need this in case of an emergency, this pathway clear or whatever, they didn't want to listen.
Right.
And it's just like, bro, or if I tell you, hey, listen, I need you to go this way because this way is blocked off. Mm-hmm. Well, they didn't want to listen. They just went and did the opposite thing. If they asked you, hey, how can I go and see this particular artist performing? We're like, okay, well, you can go and see them this way and they'll check you in. Well, why do they need to check me in if I already have my credentials? I'm like, because that's just how it's done. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're supposed to follow the rules. They were doing everything backwards.
Right.
They were also asking if they sold alcohol. We're like, there's one particular spot in this area where they do, but that's because like in that restaurant, it's an Irish pub. Mm-hmm. So obviously they sell alcohol. Mm-hmm. Other than that, no, because it's a Christian event. Y'all Christians want to get drunk? You're not supposed to.
And
in scripture, it says it.
An Irish Christian.
Huh?
We'll just call them Irish Christians.
No, forget that. It's a whole thing, right? The point was, I just felt so. I can't think of anything else other than disappointed. It kind of pissed me off, if I'm truly honest.
Right.
It hurt me because I'm just like, man, every single day I wake up and I want to do good. Every single day I want to treat people, especially when they don't deserve it. I still want to treat them with respect as best as I can. Yeah. But it's like every single one of y'all were testing me. Not just me, but the people, my coworkers who were there helping me with the event, or me helping them too, whatever. And y'all ain't showing the qualities that make God God, right? And so then what are you doing?
Yeah.
We're all imperfect. I get that. We're all sinners. I completely understand that. But as children of God, we need to recognize our flaws and work on them. And the quicker you work on them, the more you realize, oh yeah, I see where my shortcomings are. I do need to behave in a different way so that people can see that the Lord lives inside of me. for some of you guys who don't believe in God or don't know God, this can sound weird. And I mean, we might have to do a podcast at some point about this so you guys can kind of understand it a little better, that in a way that makes sense. But when we say that God lives in us, it's literally that. Think of it this way. I think I can explain it a little bit better this way. I've always looked up to superheroes like Spider-Man, Captain America, Superman, Batman, whatever. Captain America and Spider-Man, if you notice, they both have really good qualities. They have a moral code. They don't like to break that code necessarily. You know, where you have somebody a little bit more rebellious, like a Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Or like a Batman, especially Batman. I mean, he's super dark, and you know, if he has to break some rules in order to get things done, he will. But his moral code also is no killing. He's not going to kill anybody. He will beat the living crap out of you or whatever, and he'll put you in bars, handcuffs, whatever, but he's not going to kill you. Normally, in the moral code of Batman, there's been one or few times when they've broken that code, but overall, Batman doesn't do that.
Right.
Why? Because he knows that there's a line that you can't cross. Otherwise, it'll make you no different than the actual bad guys. Well, with God, because he tells us in the Bible that we have to, you know, love him first and foremost, and then love our neighbors as we love ourselves. Those are just the first two commandments of the 10 commandments. I'm quoting those two specifically because that's what we need to show the entire world in God's eyes. Like we need to show God like we are actually walking this lifestyle where we're trying to get into this discipline of being different than other people. So our behavior needs to show that. And if it's not showing that, and it's happening on a regular basis, then who's holding us as children of God accountable?
Yeah.
And then fellow Christians are wondering, oh, why do people hate Christians? Why do people hate children of God? Because you don't care enough to work on yourself and those that surround you.
I firmly believe nowadays a lot of the church is like we were actually the day of my birthday that we were talking about the things that had happened in our old church. Remember that? My lady was on the table and she was like, why didn't we mention this for what it really was? And I literally said, it's just the church is not holding people accountable.
Some churches sugarcoat things. That's what your lady said, and she's not wrong.
And then it's not just that, just the accountability portion of like, hey, let's sit down, let's talk about this. And if
adults,
and
even the kids, you need to be straightforward about some things.
Most important thing is that you do demonstrate what the word wants us to do in regards to these things. I forgot the person that said foolish Galatians. I think it was Paul or Peter, one of them.
Excuse me.
And when he was correcting the people from those scriptures of those times, he would literally confront them and tell them like, you guys are not doing what God wants us to do.
Paul would do that a lot.
Yeah.
Peter, I think, did too. But
yeah, I don't recall who it was, so don't take me for it right now. We could definitely pull up the scriptures down the road.
Yeah.
And talk more about that. And then, but the thing is that if there's not see, that's what I wanted to talk about in regards to Charlie Kirk. I don't want to mention him to get no clout or anything like that. But I see a lot of points of views with him, and then there's a lot of things that I don't see. That
sure,
it's like anything
with anybody,
even my best friends and the people around me.
Right,
I agree 100%. But the thing is that he was talking about how we need to show the love of God and all these things, but then like the Selena Gomez stuff that just came out yesterday, where he called her out on his social platforms, like, why are you doing this? Or like, we as people, for example, when we picked this topic today, the most important thing that we decided to do was to keep it broad and not point fingers towards an exact person or anything like that, where it's like, hey, we're shooting at you, I want you to know this and that. Like, we're not here under anger or under any type of anguish, trying to shoot at people. It's just simply like, if we're professing something, we need to walk by that.
Yeah.
And, you know, will there be shortcomings? Will there be a moment where somebody records you under anger or something? Probably, you know. But like, if we're talking about behavior, if we're talking about, you know, how can we control ourselves under tough situations? That's one thing. You know, Charlie Kirk on most his debates and content, you see him that he's controlled when people are literally cursing him out, throwing the F-bomb at him, and all everything. Types of stuff. But then there's been a few moments where they've caught him off guard too, and you know, people just try you to a certain point. And you know, again, it goes back to behaving. Some people don't understand that, like, certain words you say could bring people to trigger themselves and feel some type of way about something. But I think that if we're professing that we're Christians or that we love God and that we follow him, we shouldn't be making other people feel like their feelings are controlled by other people. Essentially what I'm trying to say is that Charlie Kirk was saying to Selena, like, hey, why are you crying now for the deportations, but what about all these other people that, like, you know, like the you know, sex trafficking and the children that have been that have disappeared, and you know, just human trafficking in general and all that stuff. Like, where's your tears on that? Like, who are you or who am I to ask someone to act a certain way on certain things, especially if we don't know what the other person's agenda is. We don't know their schedule. We don't know what they're doing. You know, we could be super busy and not knowing what half of the world's going through right now. You know what I'm saying? Right now, the other side of the world, there could be somebody getting bombed right now. There's someone dying in North Dakota right now, and in South America, something else is going on. Like, we could pay attention to a lot of things and we could talk about a lot of things, but there's only a certain amount of stuff we can do to be criticizing or judging another person in those circumstances. We as people need to continue to spread this type of word out there and this type of content, and stop promoting and sharing to our loved ones and the people around us content that is just throwing more gas to the fire. All the violence, all the things that are occurring. Like, yes, the mass deportation, for example, it hurts me in the heart because we are Latinos and we love our people. We'll make a podcast in regards to all these things that are going on very soon, but you know, because I don't want to dive too deep into the political portion of it, but we definitely need to talk about these things, because I think that certain things are being dealt with in a correct manner and other things aren't, and we need to talk about this. But it hurts me in my heart to see so many people being deported, families being separated, and you know, people having to start from zero again in their countries, and some of their countries not accepting them back, and just a number of things. You know, and I'll say another thing. You don't know if we'll leave here today and stop at the gas station, police pull up on us just because of our skin complexion or how we look, and they'll be like, hey, give me your ID, or you know. I have to cooperate, especially because of my background.
You definitely.
If it wasn't for being on probation, I probably wouldn't cooperate. I'd be like, you know,
I haven't done anything illegal. We're American citizens.
I'll just be like, you know what? Ron DeSantis literally made the Florida Civic Literacy exam for all college students to pass now in order to graduate, right? So my question to you, officer, or anybody from ICE or anything else, do you know your American history first and foremost? Yes or no? No? Okay, so we're going to have a debate real quick on a few questions. You're going to answer them or I'm going to answer them. So give me a good American, something that I know about, that I have to know about American history, American government. Bam, just slam them with that one. Let's talk. You know, you guys want to talk? You stopped me for a reason. You want to talk to me. You want to find out who I am. I'll let you know who I am, but you don't need my ID. I'll let you know where I'm from. You know, because I know my American history and I know my Puerto Rican history. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of South American history, and I'm not even from South America. You get what I'm saying? But like, these fools, sadly, are there's a lot of things going on right now that's just hurting me too. And you know, I want to be a voice for everyone out there to please be on your best behavior out there. You know, if law enforcement stops you, cooperate. I'm not saying don't cooperate. I'm just saying what I would do.
But know your rights too.
Yeah. Also, I was seeing that video, the video I was showing you about Dr. Phil earlier, mom and dad. That guy's over here. They're like, where are you from? Where are you, this and that? Are you a citizen? This and that. Like, bro, just because you're not an American citizen doesn't mean you don't have the right to remain silent. You can stay quiet. You ain't got to say nothing. Hey, if you want to arrest me, go ahead and arrest me. We'll solve everything at court. That's where you need to solve it. A lot of people, because they're scared, they're detained and all this stuff, they think that it's the end of the world.
I don't know, but one of those people that he was talking to was definitely...
No, for sure. He was a Jomo, and that's a terrible thing. But what I'm trying to say is that, you know, they're targeting anybody and everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and it's causing division. It's causing havoc within our own country, let alone everything else that's happening in the world.
I'm just confused what Dr. Phil's doing. You're not law enforcement, man.
But he wants to go hang out with them and record, I guess, the things that are going on. So, you know, again, everybody has their own agenda, their own thoughts. I respect some I don't. But, you know, sometimes you got to let things slide and see what's the most beneficial for your own life, especially a person like me that has, you know, a criminal past and things that are holding me back from doing certain things. I'm not saying anything, you know, with criminal activity or violence, but, you know, sometimes you just got to stay quiet because things could escalate very quickly for a person like me. But,
yeah,
you know, just in general, we need to know how to act in every situation that comes our way. We shouldn't be, what do they call it? Like busy-minded, where you're just so out of this world that you don't know what you're doing when you're walking on a daily basis in society.
Yeah, that's why it's important to have goals and priorities too. But, you know, the way everything is going around lately, you know, everybody's behavior is a little bit crazy. It's a little chaotic. People are just kind of ready to pounce on you, and it's just like, whoa, hold up, I didn't even.
Yeah.
What's this all about?
Yes,
it doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. Which is why it's important to, if you get into some sort of sticky situation, let's call it, and assess the situation intelligently instead of just giving into your impulse. And I'm talking to us as well, because I know that, like, if we're caught off guard, we will kind of react like, yo, what's your problem? You know? Yeah. And we're not supposed to behave like that. We are supposed to be the more intelligent and prepared.
But I'll tell you, like the other day in our brunch, you know, what did I do?
You handled it fine.
I handled it very nicely. I applaud myself. Why? Because I just walked away. I literally told the guy, like, why? The manager of the restaurant, he came out. I literally told her, like, hey, you know, because my lady's like, hey, bring the manager. And I didn't care to talk to the manager because we left a Google review for them too. So hopefully they enjoy that. It was
terrible. His plate was supposed to be like some stuffed
toast with raspberries and stuff inside of it. Really nice.
It looked like a chaotic mess.
It looked like a soup with bread inside of it, soggy.
Yeah, like.
So anyways, the thing was is that when the manager comes out, I'm like, I don't know why you're even out here. You know, I don't. My point is that I don't.
But he didn't care to help.
Yeah, I can say a lot of things to people, you know what I'm saying, without offending them, but like literally getting down to the point with things. But because I want to avoid problems and altercations and bad feelings from either side, because you know, I just walk away. Then we get to the car and the other stuff happens. It's just like I just stay quiet. That's why I literally told my lady, I'm like, sometimes that's why I vent in the car with my people, and they might feel some type of way, but I'm just like, I'm letting it out there than causing some crazy
big issue
in society. And then it's just like, why make a mistake, you know? So
yeah,
I know where my punching bag lives now, and it's sadly sometimes it's inside my car, but you know, it's better that than to
maybe it should be on the throne then going forward. Just release thy demons that way.
Every single demon. But yeah.
Nah, yeah. I mean, we got to know where our punching bag is too, because if it's gonna affect our family sometimes, then we shouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I try to do it. If me and my wife are sitting on the couch and whatnot, and we kind of vent to each other that way. Sometimes in bed too, but I don't necessarily recommend it sometimes because you're kind of tired now. Your body's starting to shut down, and you might say things you'll regret.
Yeah.
From both parties. So it's better to do it, like let's say around a dinner table or on the couch, or if you have a patio, sit out on the patio. Just find different ways to let go of all that, any kind of built up anger,
for sure. So
that way it doesn't necessarily affect your loved ones either, in a way where then unnecessary behavior comes up. So yeah, that's just kind of that's basically, I can't speak today. It's like I'm constantly stuttering. That's what we wanted to talk about today, essentially, short and sweet. Let's just make sure we're constantly monitoring how we behave around everybody. Let's try to be that light. And I know I sound like a broken record saying that constantly in different episodes, but it's, again, all about repetition, and it's something I'm passionate about. And here on the Bump Podcast, that's all we want to continue to do, is just get better every single day. And when we have our shortcomings, take a mental note of it, or a literal note, whatever works for you guys, and work on that, and then pass that on to the people that surround you, your friends, your family members, your coworkers. Pass it on, and whoever wants to grow and do better, they're going to follow that, and whoever doesn't, I promise you, they're not going to make much progress either. They really won't, because let's say they might do better than you at work and have a better position than you and get more money than you, but their personal life isn't all that. Where in the vice versa, your personal life is pretty freaking great. And that to me is a win versus, temporary things of this world, which is money. For my fellow Christians, I'm gonna leave you guys some Bible verses, and even if you're not a Christian, that way you guys can do your research. Some Bible verses that'll help you be more Christian, be more like Jesus. Okay, Romans 12 verses 9 through 21. Essentially, that passage includes instructions on how to love others, be patient, and live in harmony. Read it in whatever version makes the most sense to you, but pray on it too, so that you can truly understand it, so that the Holy Spirit can give you the understanding that you need in order to grow and put all of this into practice. Ephesians 5 verses 1 through 2. This particular passage encourages believers to follow God's example and live a life of love. Colossians 3:12 through 15. This essentially is how to have a compassionate heart, be humble, and forgive others. Very, very important. Matthew 22 verses 37 through 39. It shows how we should love God and our neighbors. And then Matthew 5:38 through 39 teaches us that believers should not resist evil, but instead turn the other cheek when they are stuck. Okay? So that's some food for thought for you guys. And we're going to end it on this note. Just because your pain is understandable doesn't mean your behavior is acceptable.
And yeah, with the Mike Tyson there, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the ringle-dingle-dingle. Follow us on all our social platforms.
Yes.
And like we said, if you have a story that you want to tell here on the Bump Podcast that's positive, motivational, anything about mental health, hit us up on our DMs. Let us know. We're going to make an announcement this week for sure. It's in the post-production right now.
Works.
But yeah, we love you guys, and it'll be until next week. Take care, guys.
Have a great week, and we love you.